I think people these days maybe should be happier than they were in the past because many things are a lot easier. Like, I don't know, for example, if you think in the house, like doing your housework, like hoovering, like in the past, you would have to take your rug and bang it outside your window. It takes ages. Or your washing, it would like, you know, these things were so laborious in the past, and nowadays they're really easy. So, you know.
That is true. I mean, technology makes our lives an awful lot easier nowadays, doesn't it? It makes a lot of these daily tasks easier. I see your point, but if you think about, during the war, people were going through really difficult times coping with men away, fighting the war, and that was a really difficult period. But even with all of that going on, people bonded together. There was a sense of community, which I feel is really important in someone's feeling of happiness on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, it is true. I mean, you speak to old people, and they make the past sound as if it was real. They much better, like great fun and lots of camaraderie, etc.
But don't you think that, for example, nowadays people have so many of their basic needs met? So, for example, in a developed world, a developed country like the United Kingdom, so many people have their basic needs met. We've got shelter, we've got food. We're very lucky in that people are striving for more. People are striving for higher forms of happiness that are kind of more intangible and harder to reach. And I think that causes quite a lot of frustration, actually, and often depression and those kinds of feelings.
Like things like advertising and the media, so people aspire to be in something that's not really realistic.
Exactly.
They're constantly looking for that.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on people, I think, that they need to have all these things in order to feel happy when you don't. Well, I believe you don't.
Yeah, and then there's a lot about kind of like physicality. So a lot of people get depressed about, they think they don't look good enough because they compare themselves to unrealistic kind of celebrity models and whatnot.
Definitely. I think there's a real danger that our culture is putting way too much emphasis on superficial things, like the way you look and the way you dress and the car you have.
Sure, yeah. So what do you think about this idea that happiness can be taught, that people can teach, for example, children at school to be happy?
I think that's a lofty ambition, a lovely ambition. But I think that's a very big area to have as a learning goal in your classroom as a teacher. How would you go about teaching happiness? Because, as you said earlier, different things make different people happy. What I think is really important is that we teach our kids to have confidence in their decisions that they make, and that we foster independence so that they're happy making their own decisions.
And do you think that's more of a teacher's responsibility or a parent's responsibility?
I think it's both. Completely.
Right.
It's obviously got to start at home. But if you think of the amount of time that kids spend at school, 8 to 9 hours a day, that has to be the school's responsibility as well, in consultation with the parents, definitely.
And one thing is, we are assuming that the teachers are all happy in the first place. So
Exactly. You've got to have good models there as well, haven't you? You've got to be a good model as a parent, and you've got to be a good model as a teacher. And I think it's important to impart to students that, happiness or contentment is not something that you feel every single day, every minute of that day.
That's important. Yeah, I agree.
It's something that, in general, over your life, or that phase in your life, that you're happy with what's happening in your life.
Absolutely.